I met a lot of people, even just recently, who say, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not eating that much and I'm not losing weight. As a matter of fact, I've even gained weight over the past few months. My weight kept creeping up. Hey there, I'm Dr. Del Millers, and this is Energize Your Life After 50. You see, the goal of this podcast is to help you answer one simple question, and that is, how do you want to live the next chapter in your life? Do you want to keep it as it is, or do you want more? Do you want to be better, fitter, stronger, healthier without meds, more confidence, more sex appeal? Do you want to get your mojo back? Maybe you want to be the you you've always thought you could be. So each week we'll look at simple ways to intentionally create your next chapter, prioritizing your health, your physicality, your emotional and spiritual well-being, as well as looking and feeling your best. Are you up for the challenge? Then let's get moving. All right, everybody, Dr. Del Millers here. Hope you are doing well, and I am with personalfitness.com. Just to remind you that you can, sign up for my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back, at personalfitness.com. Plus, find all kinds of great resources there, okay? One thing I would like you to do is to subscribe to the podcast and leave me a review and, of course, a 5-star rating. Why am I asking you to leave me a 5-star rating? Because that's what I want. You got to ask for what you want, right? That's true. So, hey, here's what we're going to talk about today. I want to talk about this question I get asked quite a bit, and that is, can you gain weight from eating too little? I've been doing this for over 25 years now, and I have been asked that question a lot of times. I met a lot of people, even just recently, who say, I don't know what the hell's going on. I'm not eating that much and I'm not losing weight. As a matter of fact, I've even gained weight over the past few months. My weight kept creeping up and I don't know what's going on. So are you wondering the same thing? Are you angry, confused, frustrated, and at a loss for what the heck is going on? What's happening here? You've tried everything. You've kept food logs and they tell you that, well, you're not eating a lot. As a matter of fact, you're actually eating too little. So I know you're wondering, what's happening? What's going on with me? Has my metabolism slowed down to a crawl? I hear that a lot. Are my hormones out of whack? Am I missing some vital nutrients? Do I have the right mix of nutrients? Do I need to start eating for my blood type? Do I need a cleanse? Has your body gone into starvation mode? That's a big one. Has your body gone into starvation mode? If you search the internet, you will see all kinds of, answers for why you're eating too little and you're not losing weight and why that is the case. So let's take a look at that today, because I know it can be quite frustrating to a lot of people out there, because for one thing, your mind starts going through all the multiplicity of possibilities for all the things that might be going wrong. So what the heck is going on? Can you actually gain weight from eating too little? Let's explore that possibility today. But before we get started, I'd like to take this time to remind you of a few important resources that are available to you. Number one, my free masterclass. The top 3 things you must do to lose weight and keep it off. Okay, if you're struggling with weight as an issue, then you must check out that masterclass. There's also my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back. If you're ready to truly transform your body and your life, then please sign up for the webinar. It's free. You also have access to a free health strategy call with me when you're ready to move forward in a powerful way. I also have a vault of coaching videos at my website, personalfitness.com. You can find all of that, sign up for all of that at my website, personalfitness.com. And lastly, please consider subscribing to this podcast. There is a link in the episode notes. And thank you. Thank you for being here. I really do appreciate you. All right, guys, so we're back and we're tackling the question, can you actually gain weight from eating too little? And right up front, I will say that the big answer is no, and the small answer is yes. The big answer is no. And why is the big answer no? And to understand why the big answer is no, you have to understand how the body is governed, what governs body weight. And if you remember your high school chemistry, you'll remember the first law of thermodynamics. Do you remember that? The first law of thermodynamics. And the first law of thermodynamics states that energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another. Again, energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transformed from one form to another, right? So when we're talking about the body and what the physiology of body weight, right? The body taking energy in the form of food, and it transforms that energy into usable cellular energy. We call that ATP, right? It's stored in the body as glycogen or body fat, but that's all energy. So the food you take in either gets burnt, stored. You burn it by, multiple reasons, multiple ways of burning that food. We burn up that food with our basal metabolic function. Those are the basic things your body do just to keep you alive, breathing and all the bodily functions that needs to get done on a regular basis. Yeah, on a regular. Digestion and excretion, all that takes energy, right? The body uses that. Your brain uses a lot of energy. So just for your brain to do all the things it does, yes, it does a lot more than allow you to think, right? It's controlling everything that's going on in your body. So your brain uses a lot of energy. All the NEAT activities, NEAT, that's your non-exercise associated thermogenesis. We call that NEAT activities. That's just the activities you do for daily living. Walking around, sweeping, doing housework, doing your chores, doing yard work, all of that stuff. Going to your car, brushing your teeth, all of those little things. Well, all those little things require energy. So the foods you take in are used up in those NEAT activities. We call them NEAT activities. Again, non-exercise associated thermogenesis. Thermogenesis just means heat or burning, right? Your body taking food and it burns it up as takes in calories and it transforms it into usable energy that your muscles and your cells can use. And of course, one that you're familiar with, exercise. You exercise, well, you're using up calories for exercise. So the deal is, folks, that energy in always equals energy out, period. Remember, energy cannot be created or destroyed. So energy in always equals energy out. So energy in, if the calories you take in on a daily basis, if you're burning up all of those from all of those possible different ways of burning calories, then you are at a net zero gain, right? Energy in equals energy out. You're maintaining your body weight. And if you do that over time, well, you maintain your body weight. Now the other piece of it is, if you're taking in more calories than you're burning, you will gain weight. Right? If you take in more calories than you expand, you will gain weight because it has to go somewhere. It has to go to all the activities that you're doing. And if you're burning fewer calories with all of those activities I just mentioned, then your body's going to store the rest of those calories, and that energy that you're taking is going to get stored either some is always stored in your muscle tissue, and the rest is stored in your fat cells, period. That's the way the body works. On the other hand, if you're taking in fewer calories than you're burning, you will lose weight. Let me repeat that, because this is where the big questions. If you're taking in fewer calories than you're burning, you will lose weight. So this is the part where people get confused because I am not eating a lot. As a matter of fact, I'm eating too little, yet I am gaining weight or I am not losing weight. Well, guess what, folks? If you're taking in fewer calories than you're burning, you will lose weight. There is no ifs, ands, or buts. There is no way around it because your body will, body will tap into either your energy stores or lean muscle tissue to make up the balance, right? It has to get that energy from somewhere. If you're taking in fewer calories than you're burning, well, remember, energy in has to equal energy out. So if you take in fewer calories and you're burning more calories, then it's going to take those calories either from your body fat or from your muscle stores or from your muscle tissue, which is not pretty. You don't really want that. So that is the part that gets confusing for most people, but that's it. Those are the three possibilities. There are no other possible way to gain or lose weight. It's an energy in, energy out equation. Yes, you can make the argument that you can weigh more by retaining water. That is true. But here's the deal, folks. Water retention can cause bloating and puffiness in your abdomen, legs, and arms. However, your weight generally won't fluctuate more than 2 to 4 pounds as a result of this. If it does, then you've got a serious medical condition, either a heart condition or a kidney condition. So get this, I am not saying that this energy in, energy out equation should be used as a weight loss strategy. That would be a terrible idea because weight is a bit more complicated than that, right? For the simple reason that there are a lot of factors that affect why we eat, the least important of which is hunger. So don't take this, what I just said, this energy in equals energy out equation and start trying to play with that to, achieve weight loss. It's not the best strategy. I talk about this in all the different reasons why we eat. I talk about this in my webinar, I Get Your Sexy Back. So if you haven't watched the webinar, what are you waiting for? It's one of the 3 pillars of my Weight Loss Made Easy coaching program. Why we eat. Why we eat is just as important as what we eat. Now, here's the most important lesson from all this and the point that is most difficult for many people to accept. Are you ready? If you are overweight or carrying excess weight, you are an overeater. Plain and simple. If you are overweight or you're carrying excess weight, you are an overeater. So the sooner you accept this fact, the sooner you will be on your way to losing the weight. Energy in must equal energy out, or if it doesn't, your body either going to store the rest if you're not burning up enough, or if you're burning up more than you're taking in, guess what? Your body is going to pull from your fat stores or break down your muscle tissue. If you're starving yourself, it's definitely not going to break down your fat stores. It's going to break down your muscle tissue because fat is a very precious commodity to your body. And in starvation, your body doesn't want to burn fat. It wants to hold on to it because you're starving and it's got to prepare for the future. It wants to live. So if your body's in starvation, if you're starving yourself to death, it's going to start eating away at your muscle tissue. It's going to try everything it can not to burn those fat stores, okay? So you need to understand that. So if that's your weight loss strategy, it's a terrible one because you are getting rid of muscle tissue, and muscle tissue is precious to the body. It is one of the main factors that determine your metabolism. How much lean muscle mass you have on your body. One of the main factors that determine your metabolism. And one of the only factors that you actually have control over, yeah? You can change your lean body mass, thereby, changing your metabolic rate. So think about that, folks. Energy in must equal energy out. Likewise, if you're taking in less energy than you're expending, your body has no choice but to take the rest from your muscle stores, like I said, your body fat or your muscle mass. Which one it uses depends on what you're doing. High intensity work, it takes from your muscle stores. Low intensity, long duration, it takes from your body fat. When you're in starvation, muscle mass, your body fat is too valuable, like I said. It's going to hold on to it for dear life. Again, this is a general rule of thumb, folks. I don't want you to use this as a weight loss strategy. I'm trying to explain the physiology of what's going on in your body, but weight loss is a lot more complicated than that because there are a multiplicity of reasons why we eat or don't eat in some cases, right? And guess what? Only 15 to 20% of the calories you burn daily comes from activity. And of that, exercise accounts for only about 5%. The rest is all the other ways you can be more active throughout the day, instead of sitting on your butt. So why focus on that 5%? A lot of people, try to exercise for weight loss. And I always say, exercise is a lousy weight loss strategy. If you're not changing up what you're eating, exercise is a lousy weight loss strategy because, like I said, only about 5% of the calories you use up come from exercise. 80% of changing your body has to do with how your body deals with food. 80%. Yet I see most people focus on that 5% exercise and do nothing about the 80%, which comes from food. So where does that bring us? It brings us that if you think you're eating too little and you're still gaining weight or not losing weight, it's either a food issue or it's a perception issue or both. It's a food issue, a perception issue, or both. If you think that you're not eating a lot and you're still gaining weight, then there's a great chance that you're just not aware of all the things that you're doing, all the times that you're eating, all the reasons that you're eating, all the things that you're eating. And I see this a lot, okay? I really do see this a lot. I have worked with clients who didn't even realize they're not hungry in the morning because they're up at 2 o'clock at night raiding the refrigerator, okay? And they certainly didn't count that as part of their calories. What else don't you count as part of your calories, right? So when you think you're not eating a lot, chances are you're eating a lot more than you are. It's a perception issue. Just like a lot of people think that they burn a hell of a lot more calories during exercise than they do. You really don't. You really don't burn that many calories during exercise. And a lot of people think that, they burn all this calorie during exercise. You can't go by what those machines say. You really don't. The only time you really do, if you're someone who is very athletic, very fit, very muscular, in great shape, yes, your body is a very efficient fat burning machine. But if you're not, if you're overweight and out of shape, guess what? I guarantee you're not burning a whole lot of calories doing exercise, okay? So let's just understand that. So number one, this problem is usually a perception issue. Because are you eating too little for, what's going on? Are you eating too little for a few days or a week, then binge eating at one meal, then back to eating too little again? I see that a lot. So I always ask, well, what does eating too little mean? Too little in comparison to what? And a lot of times, this is what I see. People eat too little, and guess what? If you're eating too little, your body's just going to force you to eat. You're going to be hungry. Those hunger hormones are going to get ramped up. Your brain is going to be involved, right? It's going to drive you to eat. Those cravings are going to be ramped up. And you can eat too little for a while, and then one bloody dessert can contain enough calories to throw off your energy balance. One bloody dessert can contain enough calories to just mess all that up. And you think you're eating too little? Well, guess what? You're really not. Because at one meal or one dessert, you can eat enough to just throw off whatever negative energy balance you had achieved. So how do you know you're eating too little? Well, you just don't. There are too many factors to consider to use this as a viable weight loss strategy. You just really don't know that you're eating too little. So if you think you're eating too little and you're still not losing, you've got to just own the fact that, well, you're not eating as little as you think. If you're gaining weight, you are overeating. There is just no other possibility of how the body gains weight. Your body weight is regulated by the first law of thermodynamics. Energy in must equal energy out. If it's not, you're either going to gain weight, lose weight, or stay the same. It's one of those possibilities. Here's something more important other than the fact that you're not losing weight that you should be concerned about. Your body will adapt to what you're doing. So if you are in fact eating too little, this can be a recipe for weight gain in the long term. This is the small yes. I said, can you eat too little and gain weight? And the big answer is no, because energy in must equal energy out. So if you're gaining weight, chances are you're eating more than your body is expanding, right? More than your body is burning from all those different ways. Basal metabolic rate, need activities, exercise, digestion, excretion, all of those different, your brain, all of those different ways that your body burns calories. So your body will adapt to what you're doing. So if you're eating too little, guess what's going to happen? You do this over the long term, your basal metabolic rate will decrease. That's the amount of calories your body uses on a daily basis just to keep you alive, do all your bodily function. You're going to burn fewer calories for digestion because you're taking in fewer calories. You're going to burn up fewer calories with digestion. You're going to burn fewer calories doing exercise and neat activities because your metabolism is going to be slowed down. So now you require fewer calories. So you're going to end up burning fewer calories in all the things that you do. So now if you're burning fewer calories, you're going to end up storing more calories. It doesn't matter how little you eat. You're going to end up you're burning fewer calories. So you're going to end up storing more calories because your hunger hormones will increase. That will increase your cravings. Your thyroid hormones will also decrease. That will lead you to storing more of the calories you eat. It doesn't matter if you think you're not eating a lot. Well, guess what? Your body requires far fewer calories now because if you've been doing that over a period of time, everything is going to decrease. Your body is on its way shutting down. It's going to slow everything down. It's going to slow things down to a crawl. It's going to try not to burn any calories. It's going to try to burn as few calories as possible. So this is a possibility that leads to weight gain, right? Because it doesn't matter what you take in, your body's going to store more calories because your hunger hormones are going to increase, you're increasing your cravings, and that's just going to force you to eat. So you're going to have to eat eventually. So what usually happens, eventually people start binging. Whether it's one meal or for a while, they start binging because your body is going to push you to eat. Your brain is going to push you to eat. Your hunger hormones are going to push you to eat. Your brain is going to ramp up those cravings. You are going to eat. If you are under eating over a period of time, eventually you are going to be forced to eat. That's just the bottom line. There's no other way. That is the way your body works, right? So the bottom line is if you're eating too little, everything that is happening in your body physiologically is going to be pushing you to eat. Your body's going to tell you, eat. Eventually you must. Eventually you will. And there you're going to overeat. There you're going to binge. And there most of those calories will be stored as fat because now your body is in a different place. It requires fewer calories. Everything is slower. It's not going to burn as many calories as it used to burn. So I would be very surprised if you're not binge eating at some point because biology beats willpower every single time, folks. Biology beats willpower every single time. So it doesn't matter how hard you try or if you're just not hungry, you're telling yourself you're not hungry and you're not eating. It doesn't matter. Biology beats willpower every single time. So your biology is going to force you to eat. You're going to end up binge eating at some point. And that's how you're storing those calories. That's how you're gaining weight because your body is so slow. Your metabolism is so slow. Everything that's going on in your body has been slowed down. Your body requires far fewer calories now. So again, how do you solve this perception problem? Again, it's a perception problem. You perceive that you are eating too little. You're not eating enough. It's a perception problem. Because again, the first law of thermodynamics, energy in must equal energy out. If it doesn't, you're either gaining weight or you're losing weight or you're staying the same. So how do you solve this perception problem? Stop focusing on what you're doing and start focusing on why you're doing it. This is what I do with my client. Stop focusing on what you're doing and start focusing on why you're doing. If you're consciously eating too little, why? If you're not eating because you're not hungry, why? Your body gets hungry. If you're paying attention, your body gets hungry. Your brain is going to force you to eat. So at some point, you're going to be so hungry, you are going to overeat. There is that again. If you're gaining weight or you're overweight, you are an overeater. If you're an undereater, you would be losing weight. So at some point, you have to accept this fact that you are an overeater. Why are you doing the things you're doing? Right? If you're consciously eating too little, well, why? If you're not hungry, why? There's a reason. And if you're not hungry, your body's going to push you to eat. Your body is going to get hungry. If you're listening to the signals, there are signals. Your body is telling you you're hungry. And if you ignore those signals, your body's going to ramp up those hunger hormones. It's going to ramp it up. At some point, you're going to eat. So, and you're probably going to overeat at that stage. You may go through a phase where you're undereat, but at some point, you're going to overeat. And I know you're probably not counting those times. You're probably not counting that one time that you probably taken as many calories as several other meals. You're probably not counting that, but you're probably still saying, "Oh, I don't eat a lot." So the deal is, folks, I suspect that what's really going on is a cycle of eating too little, then eating too much, then back to eating too little again. You're probably eating too little, then eating too much, overeating, and then back to eating too little again. But you don't see when you're eating too much. And when you eat too much, that's when your body's going to store a lot of those calories as fat. That's why you're gaining weight. Because your body can't gain weight if you're not taking in more than you're burning. It's just not possible. Physiologically, it's not possible. Water retention, okay, you're going to gain 2 to 4 pounds. You're not going to gain 10, 15, 20, 30 pounds from water retention. If you do, you've got a serious medical condition. You need to get it checked out right now. And you see, in the process, your body has no choice but to hold on to the weight because you haven't created a sustainable fat loss environment. When you go through the cycle of eating too little, then eating too much, and then eating too little again, you haven't created a sustainable fat loss environment. So your body has no choice but to hold on to the weight. In addition, because your body is so screwed up physiologically, more of the calories you eat is going to get stored as fat. That's why you're gaining weight. More of the calories you're eating is going to be stored as fat because your body is so screwed up physiologically from eating too little constantly over a period of time. Your body in starvation mode constantly over a period of time. And then you're overeating. Most of those calories are going to get stored as fat. So that is the process, folks, if you understand the physiology of what's going on. So if this is a problem for you, I would again go back to asking yourself, why? Why? Why do I eat too little? Why am I not hungry? If that's the case, why do I go long periods of time without eating? And then you binge eat, whether you know it or not, that's what you're doing because there's no other way for your body to gain weight. You eat too little, then you binge eat because your body's going to force you to binge eat. It's just like when you lose a lot of weight quickly. Your body's just going to force you to put the weight back on. There's no way around it. You will, because it's going to force you. Biology beats willpower, right? It's going to slow down your metabolism. It's going to ramp up your hunger hormones. It's going to slow down your satiety hormone. It's going to force you to eat more. There's just no way around that. That's the way your body works. It's your biology. It's the way your biology works. So in the grand scheme of things, the answer to your question, no, You don't gain weight from eating too little. If you're gaining weight, you are overeating. You are an overeater, plain and simple, period. You may go through periods of eating too little, and then you binge eat, then you overeat, because your body's going to force you to do that, and you may not be aware of it. And that's when you're gaining weight, because now your body requires fewer calories to function, so it will store more of the calories you eat. That's when it's storing more of the calories you're eating, okay? There's no other way around it. The first law of thermodynamics, energy in must equal energy out, or you're either gaining weight, losing weight, or staying the same. If energy in equals energy out, you're staying the same. If you're taking in more than you're burning, you're gaining. If you're burning more than you're taking in, you're losing. That's how your body weight is regulated. There is just no other way. Your hormones can't force you to gain weight. Nothing else in your body can force you to gain weight. So I know women in menopause, they like to think that their hormones are out of whack and that's why they're gaining weight. No, you're gaining weight because you're overeating. Yes, your hormones might be out of whack, and you can balance that naturally by having a better eating strategy, but your hormones aren't going to force you to eat. Right? And those are the things that we need to work on. Your hormones don't force you to eat. Your brain forces you to eat when you are eating too little. When you're starving yourself, your brain's going to force you to eat. When you lose weight too fast, your brain is going to force you to eat, so you gain the weight back. So your brain will force you to do things. But just having screwed up hormone is not going to cause you to gain weight. You're eating, right? You're overeating. That is why you gain weight. So eating too little, my friends, will not cause you to gain weight. It only causes you to gain weight when you eat too little, and your body gets screwed up. Your body slow everything down. Your metabolism slow down. All the processes of your body slow down because you're not giving it what it needs. You're not giving it enough energy to sustain life. So it goes into hibernation, like a bear goes into hibernation. Your body goes into hibernation when you're not giving it what it wants. So if you're eating too little, your body's hibernating. And then when your brain finally forces you to eat more, guess what? Now your body requires less, so it's going to store more of those calories as fat. That's when you gain weight. And then you go back to eating too little. So think about this. And if that's the problem for you, then you want to think about why you're eating too little and get on a better eating program, find a better eating strategy. Like I said, check out my webinar, Get Your Sexy Back. I talk about why we eat and the fact that, most of weight loss has nothing to do with diet and exercise. It has to do with dealing with why we do the things we do, why we eat, our internal relationship with ourselves. So that's all I've got for you today. And as usual, like I like to close, may the best of your todays be the worst of your tomorrows. You take care, and I'll catch you next time, okay? You've been listening to Energize Your Life After 50 with me, your host, Dr. Del Millers. For all the resources mentioned in this episode, you can check the show notes or go to my website at personalfitness.com. There, you can sign up for the free masterclass, the free webinar, a free health strategy call, and have access to my vault of coaching videos, all for free. So check out the website at personalfitness.com. See you next time.